Hi everyone, welcome to week 9, Technology and Nursing Practice. So we've been living in a very technological world for some time, and our dependence on technology has become even more obvious during the pandemic. The use of technology seems to be increasing in healthcare as well, and it's important to consider that we can use technology for multiple purposes. In this week's class, we will discuss 1. How nursing informatics should be taught within nursing curricula. Number 2, why as nurses we need to be careful that we don't let technology dehumanize our nursing care. And number 3, the importance of nurses' careful use of social media to ensure the privacy and confidentiality of our patients is not violated. So you should understand that not only are the CASN entry to practice competencies re nursing informatics important for your nursing education, but the CNO's entry to practice competency standards include multiple competencies that are relevant to this week's content. For example, 2.8, 3.6, and 9.4 from the CNO's new entry to practice competencies. So you are supposed to graduate with knowledge and abilities in these areas. So what is nursing informatics? Nursing informatics is defined as a science and practice that integrates nursing, its information and knowledge, and their management with information and communication technologies to promote the health of people, families, and communities worldwide. So in case you're not clear, information and communication technologies encompass all of the digital and analog technologies that facilitate the capturing, processing, storage, and exchange of information via electronic communication. Given today's realities, it is important that nurses have some abilities to put nursing informatics into practice during their education and also when they graduate. CASN has 3 main goals for its project to develop entry to practice competencies regarding nursing informatics. Number 1, they wanted to encourage dialogue across nursing students, nurse educators, and informatic experts. Number 2, they were trying to build the number of nurse educators in Canada who could teach nursing informatics. And number 3, they wanted to engage the key stakeholders in identifying outcome-based objectives for undergraduate curricula. Over a few years, CASN refined its list of competencies until 3 remained that newly graduate nurses are expected to demonstrate in practice. Because the use of ICTs is a part of so many Canadians' lives, you were expected as nursing students to possess certain foundational information and communications technologies skills when you started your program. And if you didn't have those skills then, you were expected to learn them during your program. There are 2 main areas that are considered foundational skills. They are device use and application use. Device use. As a student, you are expected to demonstrate basic skills with ICTs, such as personal computers, handheld devices, tablets, workstations, modems, Bluetooth-enabled devices, keyboarding, use of peripheral devices including printers, USB flash drives, CD-ROMs, uploading and downloading data, online collaborative learning, smartphones, mouse and touchpad interchangeability, and so on. The last one is a challenge for me as the touchpads on computers usually hate me. Number 2 is you are supposed to be able to use intranet and extranet networks to navigate systems such as accessing shared file servers, virtual private networks, the World Wide Web, cloud computing, and browsers. So application use. You are expected to be able to use electronic communication, including email, to create, send, respond to communications, as well as attach and receive attachments. You have to be familiar with the use of multimedia presentations, such as videos, podcasts, blogs, YouTube, etc. You should know how to use a word processing program, spreadsheets, and presentation graphics, so documents, spreadsheets, slideshows, creation, etc. You are expected to be able to navigate primary operating systems, such as Windows, to manage files, determine active printers, assess installed applications, create and delete files. You need to be able to use technology for self-directed learning. And you should be familiar with social networking applications such as Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So in this program, you have been expected to write your papers on computers, print out hard copies of those papers, and perhaps upload them to a Moodle site. You had to use multimedia in various presentations, and you were expected to communicate with your professors via email, etc. During this pandemic, your use of technology has been emphasized as you have to take courses like this one using Moodle or now eClass, PowerPoint slides, audio tapes, and classes on Zoom. But remember that all of these skills are the basic ones, and they are supposed to help you and as you strive to meet the 3 Kaizen competencies. The overarching Kaizen competency is about using information and communication technologies to support information synthesis in accordance with professional and regulatory standards in the delivery of patient care. This overarching competency captures the main meanings of the 3 specific competencies. Number 1, information and knowledge management. By the time you graduate, you are expected to be able to use relevant information and knowledge to support the delivery of evidence-informed patient care. There are 7 indicators under this competency, and with the other indicators for competencies, you need to meet them all. For example, you should be able to search and critically appraise online literature and resources so you can make evidence-informed decisions. Number 2, professional and regulatory accountability. This is about using ICTs in ways that meet professional and regulatory standards, as well as workplace policies. So, for example, to meet one of the 6 indicators in this competency, you need to make sure that you protect your patient's health information and keep it private. Information and communication technologies means that you must be able to use these technologies in the delivery of patient care. So under one of the 6 indicators for this competency, you need to be able to use various technologies such as electronic medical records and capillary blood glucose monitors, and be able to show that you can deliver safe nursing care to diverse populations in a variety of settings. Your new employer will be expecting you to have all of these skills, but they also will understand that not only won't you have worked with every type of health informatics, but you will also need training on the specific resources that they use in their setting. So orientation to a new job normally includes an introduction to the workplace's health informatics, technology, and health information systems that you will need to become familiar with. Health information systems combine vital and health statistical data from multiple sources to derive information and make decisions about the health needs, healthcare resources, costs, use, and outcome of healthcare. Healthcare systems are commonly used to classify information, manage patient details on an administrative level, or are subject or task-based, such as electronic medical records or electronic health records. So let's move on to technology in nursing. Technology is all around us and is becoming more and more prevalent in healthcare. Technology for healthcare is classified in 3 main ways. 1, as a completer of human beings, for example, a prosthesis. Number 2, as instruments and gadgets that facilitate the human caring of patients, for example, heart monitors, or care robots, which are devices that assist healthcare providers in their role as caretaker. And number 3, as mimicking human beings. For example, humanoid robots that use artificial intelligence so they can adapt and learn. And this is where I want you to watch these 2 YouTube videos. And these are the questions I want you to think about. So stop here, watch these two videos, and then think about the following two things. What were you thinking as you watched Sophia in the first video? Personally, I find it a bit creepy that robots can look so lifelike. Not exactly human, but getting closer, and that video was around 4 years old, so not long after Sophia's creation. You will get an idea of what has been happening with Sophia from her creation until around a year ago when you watch the second video. I find it even harder to think about how robots can learn as they interact, which means that they should keep getting better and better. I worry that robots will take over many of the things that I think are important to being human, such as playing with my children or my grandchildren, or talking with my daughter when she just needs to vent about things. At the same time, I see the potential for benefits to society and to healthcare if we use technology carefully. For example, there are some benefits of using robots in healthcare, such as saving costs, reducing waste, improving patient care, and providing sophisticated levels of measurability and traceability. But part of my problem is that as a thinking person, I have to ask, just because we have technology, should we always use it? There are many ethical questions that can be raised about technology in healthcare, and as Sophia showed us in the second video, ethical issues are not easy even for a robot. As described in the article by Baynard and the Archibald and colleagues articles, and in a different way by the Welton article, nurses do need to adapt to the intersection of futurism and the provision of nursing care. I am not arguing with those claims. I would emphasize to you that despite the potential benefits of technology in healthcare, the most important thing that nurses need to remember is that technology can dehumanize nursing care. So though technology, including robots, can reduce your burden, similar to Welton's perspective, that the expert nurse works in harmony with technology, you always must make sure that you do not lose your humanity in amongst the technology. So let's move on to social media. As you should have discussed in at least your ethics course, privacy and confidentiality fall under both ethics and the law. So legally, under both federal and provincial legislation, people have a right to privacy, and others then have the duty of confidentiality. As nurses, you are not allowed to invade a patient's privacy or break a patient's confidentiality. It is really important that you fully understand and follow the CNO's practice standard, confidentiality and privacy, personal health information. You should already understand that Ontario's Personal Health Information Protection Act governs how a patient's health information is to be protected, and you should know how you need to act to be in compliance with FIPA. Various amendments have been approved over the past few years to expand the scope and requirements of this legislation, so you need to keep up to date with all of these changes. These measures further protect clients' health information and also impose tough penalties for privacy breaches. They also make it mandatory to report privacy breaches to the Privacy Commissioner. The revisions also removed a requirement to prosecute within 6 months and doubled fines imposed for conviction of privacy breaches to a maximum of $100,000 for an individual and $500,000 for organizations. It is theoretically possible for cases that were dropped over the years to now be prosecuted because A, the 6-month time limit is removed, and B, there have been successful prosecutions under FIPA. The CNO notes that all complaints from the public or reports from the employers about possible breaches of privacy are screened for the level of risk posed to the public, and most are then investigated. A nurse who is found to have committed professional misconduct in this way may have to pay a fine or be publicly reprimanded by the disciplines committee. The nurse may then be monitored while practicing or be suspended from practice. In the most serious cases, a panel has the authority to revoke a nurse's certificate of registration. So if you violate this law, then you will be in a lot of trouble, both through the legal system and also with CNO. Computerized documentation can really be your friend if you use it properly. For example, illegible or incomplete notes can be used by a prosecuting lawyer to support a claim that you are not meeting expected standards, whereas the legibility of an electronic notes system can help your lawyer if you've ever sued or if you've ever been sued. But you also need to remember that if you invade a patient's privacy, you will be much more easily caught through an electronic health record, and then you will be prosecuted. One of the first things you need to learn at a new job is how to use the specific system wherever you're working, so that if you inadvertently access a patient's health record, then you know how to exit immediately and correct without setting off alarms. You also need to ensure that your standard practice is to log out of the computer immediately after you complete your documentation, so you don't accidentally leave a computer logged into your credentials. Otherwise, someone else could unlawfully access the system, and because they would be there under your name, then you would be in trouble. So let's talk about nursing and social media. I hope you think seriously about what you have learned so far in your nursing program, and that as an RN, you continue to be extremely careful about how you incorporate social media into your life as a nurse. It is definitely important that your use of social media, whether personal or professional, ensures patient privacy and confidentiality. But concerns about a nurse's social media use go beyond patient privacy and confidentiality. You need to remember that everything you share on social media has the potential to be viewed by the public as well as by your employer. As you should understand from your social media related readings this week, as well as from the CNO social media webcast, how you use social media in both your personal and professional lives needs to be carefully monitored. Just because you are using personal forms of social media, it does not mean that you can say or do anything you want without potential professional repercussions. From Facebook requests from a patient or formal patient to posting a picture of yourself or your nursing colleagues at work or in social settings, you need to understand that that might cross professional boundaries and what might be deemed unacceptable by CNO and or your employer. It's always better to be safe than sorry, so think twice before you post something. Ask someone else what they think before you post, check CNO standards, and ensure you meet your employer's guidelines about social media use. If you have any doubt at all, if you find that you're second-guessing yourself, then your decision should always be not to post. So we will discuss some of these issues coming up in our Week 9 Zoom meeting, which will be on Tuesday, November the 17th from 3 to 4. See you then.